Hey everyone, this is Max from Music Lessons 101. Today we're diving into the classic Tin Man by America. There's a really interesting chord choice in this song that I want to talk about. One that I originally played differently, but after listening closely, I realized something cool about how the bass guitar affects the harmony. I'll break that all down for you step by step, and if you're a beginner, don't worry, stick around till the end because I'll show you the easy way to play this song so you can start playing it right away. All right, let's get into it. So the song is in the key of G, and it starts off on the 5 chord, which is the D, and they do this real pretty D sus2. I'll post the chord chart up for this so you can see the chords, okay? So I'm not going to go over finger placement and all that. You'll be able to see it. So it does that. Then it goes to a D 7th, which is another unique way to play it. And these are just down strums. So after the intro, we're going to jump into the G major 7th, and we're going to use a simplified version. And then we're going to go to a G6. Okay, so you just have G major 7th. I don't even play the bass most of the time. You can put the bass in if you want to. If the G major 7th is new to you, let me take you through that real quick. Here's your G chord. The major 7th, you're just going to come down 1 from your root note. That's an easy way of looking at it. So this is your G here on the top. So just keep this chord the way you have it and just lift your other fingers and just put your first finger here on the first string, 2nd fret. That'll give you a nice G major 7th. Then we go to a G6, and we're just going to play a G chord. You know how you have your big bar chord G here? We're just going to take this triad that's on the top, and you're going to add your pinky on the 2nd string, 5th fret. Okay. Now the interesting thing about this is the bass is actually playing a C note. So this, in a way, makes it a C major 7th. You determine a chord based on the root note. And I'll go into detail about this in a little bit because I always used to play a C major 7th on this song, and I was thinking I played it wrong after I was watching a few YouTube videos. And I said, dang, I'm playing the wrong chord. I never even realized that, but it sounded good to me. But it still is a C major 7th. We'll talk about that as we get towards the end of the video. And same for the beginner students. If you're watching this, hang in there to the end. I'll show you the easy way to play this song, but I want to stick with the way you should play it if you can. So we go to that G6, and I'm just playing this little triad. You don't need like all the big low bass, the booming bass notes for this. You know, unless you want to do it, you're playing it by yourself or something. So we have and then at that point, that's when the first verse comes in. That's the intro. And we start the first verse on that G major 7th. Sometimes late when things are real. Okay, so it does that for the first verse. Very simple. I'm not going to sing much of this to avoid copyright strikes. There's nothing worse than getting your whole video uploaded and finding out you have a copyright strike because you sang too much during a lesson. So bear with me on that and refer to the demo video that I uploaded. So then we come to the Oz Never Did Give Nothing to the Tin Man part of the song. That's going to go to a C major 7th, and we like to play it up here. So we're going to use this form of the C major 7th and the G major 7th. So let me show that to you. So what's going on there, if you go back and play this G chord we started with, and you remember when we did this, the G major 7th here, this is your major 7th right there. You have a G, G major 7th. If you go to your G major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's your major seventh out of the major scale, and there's your G major seventh, but we're going to play it like this. A little stair step. Really pretty. So then when we come to Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man. We're going to go up to this C major seventh up here. That's the Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man. And what's going on there with the strumming is just and if you're a beginner, if this is giving you trouble, just keep that hand going. It's just 16th notes. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Eventually you'll fall into the groove. That's my thoughts on the strumming. So then what's going to happen after we do that, now we go back to the intro part. Then we come into when I say I'm spinning round, round part. When I say I'm spinning round, 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 round. Okay, so that's just the same as the intro basically, and then it'll do the oohs, and then it goes back into Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man, which is this up here again. Okay, so let me break those chords down for you really quick, since we're going to have more time on this video, because that's pretty much the whole song. So on this G major 7th, let's start here. Okay, so you're going to have your first finger 2nd fret, 1st string. 2nd finger is going to be on the 2nd string 3rd fret. 3rd finger is going to be on the 3rd string 4th fret. Pinky is going to be on the 4th string 5th fret. So what's tricky about this is you can see if I put my thumb up there, I can see where the G is. But you always have to remember that your G note is here, or your G, your root is there on the 3rd fret. So sometimes this can be tricky to find. So when I come up to the C, I'm seeing where this is my C note, but I'm placing my 1st finger behind it, okay? And it's the same stair step shape. Okay. So on the D6, you have your root D, then you're going to have your 3rd string 5th fret, 2nd string 5th fret with your pinky, and then your 1st string is going to be the 3rd fret. And then the trick to this, just keep your 3rd finger down, hop your pinky down, and bring your 1st finger up. See what an easy transition that is? And then it's just a matter of doing that. So that's the whole song. And now let's take a few minutes and jump into a little bit of theory, and I'll show you For you beginners out there, I'll show you a really, really easy way to play this song if you like. Okay, so when I first learned this song, and I've been playing it for many years, I always played it differently. I always played it like this. Well, I would play the intro. Okay, so what I always did, and it sounded good to me, I played it that way for years and loved it. That's just going from your G major 7th to a C major 7th. Now, if you're just learning to play guitar, this is really easy to do. You're just going to take your C chord, your basic C chord, lift your first finger, there's a C major 7th, okay? And then you go back to your G major 7th. So here's the cool thing about this, for all of us music theory geeks. When I realized it was a G6 chord, I was like, oh, wow, I've been playing that song wrong all these years. Well, this does sound better because this is how they play it. But note that I said earlier the bass is playing a C. And I'd mentioned that makes it a C major 7th. We'll look at right here. There's a C major 7th. And here's your G6 right here, okay? So those two are inherently tied together. And this is kind of coming from the Johnny Smith method of teaching, where I derived that this is a C major 7th, is because Johnny Smith's whole thing about guitar was that the root note determines the chord. And that keeps you from getting totally confused. So if you have a root note on this right here, if you have a C root note on top of this G6, that's a C major 7th. Although we can say, you know, we're playing a G6 triad on top of it. And there's a couple other guitars playing on this recording too, so who knows who's doing what in that, okay? So the rest of it still stays the same. But if you're a beginner, you can still do it this way too. You can go... But then when it comes to that Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man, you'll just play that C major 7th. Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man. And then you just get back into the song. And I'll just show you really quick on the rhythms. So if you're a beginner, break it down like this. Start off really simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes late when things are real. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, then do 8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Times late when things are real. So now you have your 8 notes. And now we're going to break that down one more time and go into the 16th notes. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So you can see that basically that strumming is just a combination of 8th notes and 16th notes. Just break it down into quarter notes, 8th notes, and 16th notes. Just get that groove, and then you're eventually going to fall into playing it the way you want to. Because I very seldom am thinking what my right hand is doing while I'm playing. As long as I'm in the groove, it's all good. I would also, if you're working on the strumming, work on the strumming separate from if you're trying to sing it. This can be kind of a challenge to play and sing at the same time. If you're struggling with this D sus, and this is actually, I should go into a little bit more detail. This is like a D7th sus2 with a sus4 on it, if you look at it. And this may not sound as good, but here's a little workaround you can do. If you just put your first finger here on this C note and play this, because here you have your D, the G is your sus4, your C is the 7th, and your E is the sus2. Okay, so that gets you close. So that's really easy. So then you would just have, and then that actually makes a really nice chord progression, doesn't it? Somebody should write a song. Okay, that's the really super simple way of doing it for all you beginners out there. Eventually you'll be playing this and moving forward and getting all those other chords in there as well. For those of you that noticed the little guitar arpeggio part on the end, I just learned that recently from watching another YouTube video, and apparently it was George Martin who put that in on the piano. That was a piano part, and he put that in at the end of the song, and I just think it's really great, and I just learned it and put that in there, but I'll show that to you really quick. All it is, you're just thinking of like a G major 7th up here. Then it goes to C major 7th. So you just have your G major 7th here and a C major 7th. I'm going to do this part really slow for you if I can. Okay, then it repeats. All right, so that's it for Tin Man. There's not much to it, really. It's mostly all about the rhythm and the groove on this one here. So thanks for dropping by Music Lessons 101, and we will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.